Okay.
After a while, Jane, they'll just go away.
We are live.
They don't. They send you a letter saying, why didn't you answer me?
I know.
Senate will please come to order. Please join me in a moment of silence in lieu of a devotional today. Thank you. Are there any announcements? The chair has an announcement. Joining us today are Franklin Northeast Supervisory Union 3rd and 4th graders watching virtually via YouTube. They are eager to observe today's proceedings and are assisting in Lieutenant Governor for a day. The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Appearing on the calendar for notice and affecting the expenditures of the state, I move the rules be suspended in S-111 at
110, my fault, sorry.
Thank you. The rules be suspended in S-110, an act relating to extending eligibility for pandemic emergency unemployment compensation not be referred to the Committee on Appropriations pursuant to Rule 31.
The senator from Windham has moved that appearing on the calendar for notice and affecting the expenditures of the state, moves that the rules be suspended in S-110, an act relating to extending eligibility of pandemic emergency unemployment compensation not be referred to the Committee on Appropriations pursuant to Rule 31. Are you ready for the question? If so, please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've referred S-110 to the Committee on Appropriations pursuant to Rule 31. We have 3 Senate bills for introduction. S-114, an act relating to improving pre-kindergarten through grade 12 literacy within the state, introduced by the Committee on Education. Please listen to the first reading. It's a committee bill for introduction.
S-114, an act relating to pre-kindergarten through grade 12 literacy in the state.
You have heard the first reading, and the bill is referred to the Committee on Education.
Goes on notice.
Excuse me, given that it's a committee bill, it's been placed on notice for the next legislative day. We have S-115, an act relating to making miscellaneous changes in education laws, introduced by the Committee on Education. Please listen to the first reading.
S-115, an act relating to making miscellaneous changes to education laws.
You've heard the first reading. The bill, pursuant to the rules, is placed on the legislative calendar for the next preceding day. S-116, an act relating to veteran status inquiries on program and service intake forms, introduced by Senators Rahm, Chittenden, and Parent. Please listen to the first reading.
S-116, an act relating to veteran status inquiries on program and service intake forms.
You've heard the first reading, and the bill is referred to the Committee on Health and Welfare. S-117, an act relating to extending healthcare regulatory flexibility during and after the COVID-19 pandemic and to coverage of healthcare services delivered by audio-only telephone, introduced by the Committee on Health and Welfare. Please listen to the first reading.
S-117, an act relating to extending healthcare regulatory flexibility during and after the COVID-19 pandemic and to coverage of healthcare services delivered by audio-only telephone.
You've heard the first reading, and pursuant to the rules, the bill is placed on the calendar for the next legislative day. We have House bills for introduction. H88, an act related to certification of agricultural use for purposes of the Use Value Appraisal Program, introduced in the House on January 19th, 2021. Please listen to the first reading.
H88, an act relating to certification of agricultural use for purposes of the Use Value Appraisal Program.
You've heard the first reading, and the bill is referred to the Committee on Agriculture. We also have H199, an act relating to validating legal instruments used in connection with the conveyance of real estate, introduced in the House on February 5th, 2021. Please listen to the first reading.
S199, an act relating to validating legal instruments used in connection with the conveyance of real estate.
You've heard the first reading, and the bill is referred to the Committee on Judiciary. The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the rules be suspended and that 110, an act relating to extending eligibility for pandemic emergency unemployment compensation, be taken up for immediate consideration.
The senator from Windham has moved that the rules be suspended and S110 be taken up for immediate consideration. Are you ready for the question? So please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've suspended the rules to take up S110 for immediate consideration. Yeah, for immediate consideration, S110. It was referred to the Committee on Economic Development, Housing, and General Affairs, which reports it has considered the bill and recommends that the bill ought to pass. Please listen to the second reading of the bill.
S110, an act relating to extending eligibility for pandemic emergency unemployment compensation.
I now recognize the senator from Chittenden, Senator Sirotkin, for the report of the Committee on Economic Development, Housing, and General Affairs.
Thank you, Madam President. Can you hear me?
Yes, Senator.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. S110 is an extremely technical bill that is designed to keep up with the changes in Washington, D.C. dealing with unemployment compensation. It is designed primarily as a win-win-win proposition, which I'll talk about, targeted mostly at Vermonters suffering from long-term unemployment as a result of COVID. It was brought to us by the administration with a sense of urgency as recently as the Friday prior to our break. Let me just give you the briefest of backgrounds on the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation Program, PEUC. It was a temporary program created by the CARES Act last year and provides 100% federal funded benefits for individuals who have exhausted their regular state unemployment insurance benefits. The order of program benefit eligibility is regular unemployment, pandemic emergency unemployment compensation, then another 13 weeks of extended benefits, then an additional PEUC benefit authorized by the Continued Assistance Act, CAA, that was signed by President Trump on December 27th. The amount of benefits is equal to the regular UI benefits the individual received. CAA provided for an additional 11 weeks of PEUC benefits, and now I don't know what's happening today, but the American Rescue Plan, if enacted, will provide an additional 24 weeks of PEUC benefits through Labor Day, essentially. What this bill is about and what the federal law allows states to do is to adopt an option to coordinate state unemployment benefits with PEUC benefits for individuals whose initial benefit years expires after December 27th, 2020. So when you think of all the people who were forced to leave their jobs for whatever reason related to COVID on March 13th, when the state of emergency passed, we're starting to see more and more of these people exhausting what is called their benefit year calculation. And just to jump to the end quickly, essentially what this bill does is it allows people to continue to use their old benefit year calculation, which determines their weekly benefit amount, as opposed to where they would ordinarily have to transition to a new benefit year, which, as you can imagine, given how people have been out of work for the last year, would see their benefits drop precipitously. So the goal of this bill and what the federal government allows is for people to maintain their benefits and not see a precipitous drop. So in that sense, it's very much a win for the claimants who are drawing down benefits. It's a win for the trust fund and the employers who contribute to that trust fund, because it will be totally funded with federal dollars versus trust fund dollars. And it's a win for the Department of Labor because they have testified that without this law, they will have to do an incredible amount of manual processing and would delay benefits to many thousands of Vermonters if we don't get this bill to the governor's desk by Friday. They said this week alone, 1,600 people would have to be processed manually. The following week, 5,000 people would have to be processed manually. So essentially, as I said, is going to allow claimants to maintain their benefits. It needs to be done quickly to have its maximum effect. We heard in our committee from Legislative Counsel, from the Commissioner of the Department of Labor, from the Director of the Unemployment Insurance Division, and our committee vote was 5-0. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Are you ready for the question? And if so, please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've ordered third reading of S 110. Senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I move, that the rules be suspended and that S-110, an act related to extending eligibility for pandemic emergency unemployment compensation, be placed in all remaining stages of passage.
The senator from Windham has moved that the rules be suspended and S-110 be placed in all remaining stages of passage. Are you ready for the question? And if so, please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've suspended the rules, and S-110 is placed in all remaining stages of passage. We have now for third reading, S-110, which was ordered to be read today. Are there any amendments before third reading? Please listen to the third reading of the bill.
S-110, an act relating to extending eligibility for pandemic emergency unemployment compensation.
The question now is, shall the bill pass? Are you ready for the question? Please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've passed S-110. The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the rules be suspended and S-110, an act relating to extending eligibility for pandemic emergency unemployment compensation, be messaged to the House forthwith.
The senator from Windham has moved that the rules be suspended and S-110 be messaged to the House forthwith. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've suspended the rules to message the bill to the House forthwith. The question now is, shall the bill be messaged to the House forthwith? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please unmute and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've messaged S-110 to the House forthwith. This brings us to the orders of the day. We have on the calendar for action S-39, which was introduced on January 20th, 2021. It was referred to the Committee on Judiciary, which reports has considered the bill and recommends that the bill ought to pass. Please listen to the second reading.
S-39, an act relating to the judicial branch fee report and electronic filing fees.
The chair now recognizes the Senator from Caledonia, Senator Benning, for the report of the Committee on Judiciary.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, back in 2011, this legislature decided that it wanted to pay attention closely to fees that were being generated in the judicial branch of government. And as a result of that request to pay some attention to that process, passed a law that required the administration in the court system to give us a report every 3 years on consolidated judicial branch fees. This year, we had a new process in the in the judicial branch of what's known as an e-filing system. And specifically, it's called Odyssey, and it's being presented to us by a group called Tyler Technologies. Technically, any fees that are associated with filing of documents now, those fees that are paid for the filing of documents go directly to Tyler Technologies. And there was some question about whether or not the legislature would be enabled to monitor what was happening when those fees were paid, how much was being paid, et cetera. So this bill that you now have in front of you asks to have this e-filing system incorporated into that 3-year judicial report to the legislature so that we are able to monitor what exactly is happening. The language is very short and specific. It simply asks that the judicial filing fees, now called e-filing, be reported to us every 3 years. The effective date is July 1st of 2022, but the first report that we will actually see if the bill passes would be due in January of 2023. We heard from witnesses that included the Vermont Bar Association's Executive Director Terry Corsones, the Defender General Matt Valerio. Becky Wasserman was Legislative Counsel. Committee voted 5-0 in favor of passage, and that we would ask the Senate's support for the same. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. The question now is, shall the bill be read the third time? Are you ready for the question? And if so, please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've ordered third reading of S-39. We also have on the calendar for action S-22, which was introduced in this chamber on January 13. It was referred to the Committee on Health and Welfare, which reports it's considered the bill and recommends that the bill be amended as appears on pages 194 to 197 of today's calendar, and that when so amended, the bill ought to pass. Please listen to the second reading of S-22.
S-22, an act relating to healthcare practitioners administering stem cell products not approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
The senator from Rutland District, Senator Hooker, is recognized for the report of the Committee on Health and Welfare.
Thank you, Madam President. We live in an age of medical miracles where some believe anything is possible. Stem cell therapy, a form of regenerative therapy, is one of those miracles that for years has safely saved or extended the lives of patients with various diseases. Stem cell products are regulated by the FDA and generally require FDA approval. Currently, the only stem cell products that are FDA approved.
Excuse me, point of order. I'm going to kindly ask that all senators ensure that their cell phones or any technology are properly muted. Thank you. Senator, you may continue.
Thank you.
Currently, the only stem cell products that are FDA approved are those for use in the United States consist of blood-forming cell stems known as hematopoietic progenitor cells. And these products are approved for use in patients with disorders that affect the production of blood or the hematopoietic system. But they're not approved for other uses. There's a lot of misleading information on the internet and in the marketplace about these products, including statements about the conditions they can be used to treat, from orthopedics to baldness. None of these products have been approved for the treatment of any orthopedic condition, such as osteoarthritis, hip pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, or for neurological disorders such as MS, ALS, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's, epilepsy, or stroke. None of them have been approved for cardiovascular or pulmonary diseases such as heart disease, emphysema, COPD, nor have these products been approved to treat autism, macular degeneration, blindness, chronic fatigue. Neither have these products been approved for the use of the prevention of COVID-19 or complications from COVID-19. Although you may have read that in February, a woman in Missouri was charged with selling such hope. And none have been approved for the prevention of baldness. Yet practitioners advertise stem cell products and procedures for the treatment of these conditions. Individuals with serious or not so serious health problems may be tempted to try these products and treatments, believing they have been tested and approved by the FDA, and pay high prices to receive them. S-22, a strike-all by the Health and Welfare Committee, is a patient safety and consumer protection bill of notice and disclosure. It requires healthcare practitioners administering stem cell products not approved by the FDA to disclose through a notice to their patients posted in their clinics and in their advertising that the product being used has not been approved by the FDA for the purpose it's being marketed by the provider. Section 1 of the bill adds a new chapter to Title 18 on stem cell and stem cell-related products. Section 4501 defines stem cells and stem cell-related products and specifies that they do not include blood transfusions or use of stem cells for bone marrow reconstitution following treatment of cancer, leukemia, and lymphoma. Section 4502 in the notice is the notice and disclosure section requiring that the practitioner provide each patient with a written notice before administering the stem cell or stem cell product to the patient for the first time. The bill specifies the content and format of the notice and requires that it include information on methods for filing a complaint with the licensing authority and for making a consumer inquiry, including to the Attorney General's Consumer Assistance Program. It requires that the provider have the patient sign a disclosure form prior to each administration of an unapproved product, and keep a copy of the signed form in the patient's record and provide a copy for the patient to take home. The notice needs to be prominently displayed and visible to the patients in the place of service, and it has to be in any advertisement relating to the non-FDA approved stem cell and stem cell related products in both print and non-print form. Exempt from these requirements are healthcare practitioners with FDA approval for clearance for an investigational new drug or device for the use of the stem cell or stem cell related product. Practitioners who administer the products under contract with an institution certified by certain national organizations, and practitioners who have personally received a determination from the FDA stating that approval is not necessary for the practitioner's specific use of the product. It also specifies that a violation of the section constitutes unprofessional conduct under the Board of Medical Practice and the Office of Professional Regulation. Sections 2 and 3 add failure to comply with the requirements for administering non-FDA approved stem cell or stem cell related products to the unprofessional conduct statute of OPR and the Board of Medical Practice, respectively. Your Health and Welfare Committee took testimony from Jill Abrams from the Attorney General's Office, Jessa Barnard from the Vermont Medical Society, Cindy Bruzzese from Vermont Ethics Network, David Herlihy from the Vermont Board of Medical Practice, Daniel Weiss, Professor of Medicine and Professor of Cell and Molecular Biology at the University of Vermont, from Senator Ginny Lyons, the sponsor of the bill, and also from Jennifer Carby, Legislative Counsel. I'd like to thank Jen Carby for all of her work on this bill, especially for formulating a clear definition of stem cell and stem cell products that has been commented on and commended by other states with similar legislation. The committee vote was 5-0, and we ask the Senate to concur. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator. The question now is, shall the bill be read the third time?
Need to adopt the report.
Excuse me. Excuse me. The question is, shall the Senate amend the bill? First, we're going to deal with that, as recommended by the Committee on Health and Welfare. And I see the Senator from Chittenden has raised his hand. The Senator from Chittenden is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I wonder if I could inquire of the presenter.
You may.
Thank you, Madam President. Maybe you reviewed this, but is there a malpractice implication for medical professionals here? And could you give us some comfort that we're not going to implicate the relationship with insurance? The reason I ask is malpractice insurance certainly is one contributing factor or a contributing factor on rising health costs.
Madam President, it's my understanding that this bill would deal with unprofessional conduct. I don't believe that there's anything with malpractice in here. I would have to check on that prior to third reading, but I'm happy to do it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And maybe I'm misunderstanding the premise here, and forgive me, it's hard to concentrate in these Zoom sessions. Are we just simply not changing the practice here, but changing some of the disclosure? Is that the premise of what you're pushing?
Madam President, that's correct. This bill requires notification and disclosure. Nothing about the practice.
Okay, so the practice exists today, Madam President. We're just saying here, if you're doing it, here's some extra protections.
This is true, so that patients know that these products have not been approved by the FDA.
Madam President, thank you. I appreciate the presenter's patience with my slow uptake here. Thank you very much.
The question is, shall the Senate amend the bill as recommended by the Committee on Health and Welfare? Are you ready for the question? So please unmute. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've amended the bill as recommended by the Committee on Health and Welfare. The question now is, shall the bill be read the third time? Are you ready for the question? So please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've ordered third reading of S 22. We have on the calendar for action, JRS 18. A joint resolution providing for a joint assembly to vote on the retention of 2 superior judges and 3 magistrates. Please listen to the reading of the resolution by title only.
JRS 18, joint resolution providing for a joint assembly to vote on the retention of 2 superior judges and 3 magistrates.
The question is, shall the Senate adopt the resolution on its part? Are you ready for the question? So please unmute. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've adopted the resolution. This completes the orders of the day. The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Pending announcements, I move that the Senate stand in adjournment until 1 p.m. Thursday, March 11th, 2021.
The senator from Windham has moved that subject to any announcements, the Senate do adjourn until Thursday, March 11th at 1 p.m. Are there any announcements? The senator from Bennington is recognized.
Madam President, I'd like to move that the rules be suspended for the purpose of referring S-107, which is an act relating to juvenile arrest records, to the Committee on Government Operations.
The senator from Bennington, has moved that the rules be suspended and that S-107 be referred to the Committee on Government Operations. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've suspended the rules. The question now is, shall S-107, an act relating to confidential information concerning the initial arrest and charge of juveniles, be committed to the Committee on Government Operations? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've committed S-107 to the Committee on Government Operations. Are there any additional announcements? The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Government Operations will meet at 1:45.
Thank you. The senator from Washington is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Finance will meet at 1:45.
Thank you. The senior senator from Caledonia is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Appropriations will meet 15 minutes after the fall of the gavel. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. The senator from Bennington is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Education will also meet 15 minutes after the fall of the gavel.
Thank you. The senator from Caledonia is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. The Senate Institutions Committee will meet at 1:45.
Thank you. Are there any additional announcements? The senior senator from Chittenden is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a reminder to Committee on Health and Welfare that we will begin tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. The senator from Addison is recognized.
Senate Natural Resources and Energy will meet tomorrow at 9 o'clock, not 8:30.
Thank you. Are there any additional announcements? Hearing none, seeing none, the senator from Windham has moved that the Senate adjourn until Thursday, March 11th at 1 p.m. Are you ready for the question? And if so, please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the Senate stands adjourned until Thursday, March 11th at 1 p.m.